All right. Cappuccino Conservative shares this. The Democratic Party has an MSNBC problem. I think the whole thing is a tragic codependent relationship that, quite frankly, is really gross to watch for all onlookers. They're like that, you know, that couple that's just completely toxic and they ruin every time you go out with them in public, and you just keep thinking, why won't they break up? They're codependent, they're both gross, and then you realize, oh, they're both crappy people. You know, that's the Democratic Party and MSNBC. They're that couple where when you see their toxic codependency, when you're out in public with them, you realize that, oh, they're both not good people. They're both corporatist. They're both gross. I don't want to be friends with either one of them. I'm ending my relationship with both of them. That's the Democratic Party with MSNBC. Democratic Party has an MSNBC problem. The Democrats need to stop obsessing about Trump and Russia and need to start talking about the bread and butter issues that matter to ordinary people. I don't even know who this quote is from. I guess it's from the author. Since Donald Trump took office, that sentiment has been a refrain from the party's leading critic on both the left and the right, and it's also fundamentally unfair. Oh, really? It's fundamentally unfair. You really think the Democrats aren't basking in this? In truth, the Democratic Party is quite focused on promoting a progressive critique of the GOP's position on taxes, healthcare, and social spending, because it knows it knows that the Republicans are deeply vulnerable on those issues. MSNBC, CNN, and the broader mainstream media, however, are obsessed with the White House's myriad scandals. What a bunch of... If you get your news from Democratic Twitter's accounts, then you might think that the biggest scandal in American politics right now is the Republicans' war on the middle class. And their evidence for this is 2 tweets, by the way. 2 tweets from the Senate Democrats and Nancy Pelosi. Well, let's test this theory. Let's test this theory. Let's go to Nancy Pelosi's Twitter right now. Maybe they have a point. Maybe the Democrats are finally starting to evolve a little bit, and the media still isn't giving them any credence. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi's Twitter... She tweeted about the shooting. That's her Twitter. That's her tweet as of 2 hours ago. That's fair. Of course, she's going to do that. House GOP. She's criticizing the GOP farm bill. Okay, that's on policy at least. Doesn't give the Democrats alternative. Just says it's bad. Another policy tweet. Okay, she's tweeting about the mom summit because she's there. Okay, I mean, I'm not totally familiar with that, but I can take that. She's talking about the farm bill more. She retweeted a representative here talking about the mom bill. Russiagate, here we go, Russiagate. An LGBTQ tweet, which, you know, that's good. Okay, cool. Russiagate. Okay, another thing about the farm bill. A thing about Trayvon Martin. That's cool. Although, again, no plan to do anything about it. Net neutrality. All right. Net neutrality. Net neutrality. Good. Net neutrality. Okay. Net neutrality. Net neutrality. She tweeted a lot about net neutrality. Okay. I'm willing to, you know, give the benefit of the doubt there. It is politically convenient for her to tweet about net neutrality, but I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt and say that she supports it. Of course, Silicon Valley supports net neutrality because we do have some unlikely allies in net neutrality. We have people supporting net neutrality because it helps their business model. They're supporting net neutrality for a totally different reason than we are, but let's take the strange bedfellow in this case, guys. Net neutrality is too important. Net neutrality. All right. Okay, so going through her Twitter feed the past day or so, it seems to be just as much on policy, if not more, than on Russiagate. So, you know, maybe there's a little bit of a point here. Let's go to Senate Democrats. Let's see what the Senate Democrats are talking about. Maybe even the media. I'm sorry. The Democrats are still tone deaf. But maybe the media is even more tone deaf than the Democrats. I'm willing to say that there's a possibility that's true. Okay, Senate Democrats, GOP tax scam, net neutrality, education, Gina Haspel, kind of just a historical thing, net neutrality, 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 net neutrality. Of course, keep in mind, they're patting themselves on the back. They're patting themselves on the back for what they did in the Senate, which is meaningless if we can't get the House and Trump to sign off on it, which is a long, long haul. So, yeah, they're playing... They're tweeting about policy, but it's policy that makes them look good. They're not really... But hey, at least it's not a Twitter feed nonstop about Russiagate. I can give them that. Fair enough. I'll concede. So let's move on to this. Let's move on to this article that I do think is way too apologetic for the Democratic Party, but isn't totally off base. I think the lesson to take away from here: the corporate media is even more tone deaf than the Democratic Party. That's how tone deaf the corporate media is. They're below. It's like media. Democrats are here. So, progressive critique. Now, notice this article didn't say progressive alternative. They said progressive critique because that's optional. Or that's accurate. Excuse me, optional. Accurate. They're not saying, hey, here's what we're going to do. They're saying, hey, this is awful and we're not that, so vote for us. We don't give you anything to vote for, but we're not that, so vote for us. Good job, Democrats. But they're right. The Democrats are tweeting more about policy than the media is reporting on policy. Okay, I'll take it. That's just accurate. Eager to move a message to focus on things like minimum wage hikes and healthcare premiums. Oh, really? Because we just went through the Senate Twitter feed and Nancy Pelosi's feed. There was nothing there about healthcare. There was nothing there about minimum wage hikes. There was net neutrality. There was the school shooting. There was some Russiagate. Nothing about living wages. Nothing about living wages. So, I don't know how long you scrolled through that feed, but nothing about living wages. So, once again, this is giving the Democratic Party way too much credit. The lesson here is the media is even worse. The Democrats are bad. The media is even worse right now. That's the lesson. But, let's keep patting them on the back. Eager to move a message. No evidence there, by the way. No evidence. It's impossible, said one Senate aide, unless you want to talk about Russia. Saying that they can't get on cable news unless they want to talk about Russia. I do believe that. I think that's a plausible explanation. I feel like that's pretty plausible. That if you go on the corporate media, you got to talk about Russiagate. I'm being very fair here. I'm not. I mean, this article is giving them a ridiculous amount of credit that they don't deserve. But so let's see. And now they talk about how Fox News isn't covering it as much. All right, I think this is enough on this article. And I've seen similar articles to this. Somebody emailed me a Daily Beast article, which, by the way, is owned by the Clintons. But somebody tweeted me a Daily Beast article, and they said how the Democrats really want to talk about party. And it was another one like this. So I think it's fair to say that the media is even more lopsided than the Democratic Party. I think the Democratic Party is at least trying to... they're at least giving some lip service to some stuff here and there. But, I mean, you're comparing two bottom-of-the-barrel ailments. And this doesn't get away from the rot that's going on with the Democratic Party. This doesn't get away from the fact that their alternative is we're not the Republicans. This doesn't get away from that. Just because they're a little more in tune to policy compared to the corporate media, that's not saying a lot. That is the bare minimum of the bare minimum of the bare minimum. So, yeah, I think this article is very much apologist for the Democratic Party. And well, there's a little bit of a merit to it. Giving them way too much credit.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.